Whew. Jen, you got some strong, potent food going on in here.
Oh, I do.
Oh,
It's so hot.
Please try not to breathe towards me. Dragon breath.
You want to make out?
It smells awful in here.
I'm sorry. It's Thai food. I've been trying to finish it since Friday.
Uh-huh.
But it's so spicy, I just can have a little bit at a time, and then I have to walk away from it.
It's probably getting spicier by the day, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
I'm trying to figure out who is the biggest asshole when it comes to foods that smell up the entire...
Today, I think I win.
You win today, but Riggy over there, you guys compete daily.
We do.
She does bring eggs, though, too.
I do.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you'll come in here with some kind of fish bullshit.
Or some farty-ass chicken.
I do broccoli, yeah. Broccoli's probably my biggest
One day we
offender.
have to team up and decide that we're both going to bring our stinkiest on the same day.
The worst is when Kevin's got broccoli, but he's got that real gross looking. It looks like the chicken's about 4 weeks old. It just looks tired.
Yeah.
That's your worst round. It's very gross.
Yeah. I hear you. It's not easy eating healthy, man.
It's not
Tell
easy
ya.
looking at it either.
Yeah, we all got to pay, I guess, unfortunately.
Oh, my sinuses are draining.
Ooh.
My eyes are watering.
Oh, yeah.
This is the real deal.
No, I remember that. I've taken that, ridden that bowl before.
What's it called?
Well, the spice the spice is like a native Thai. It's real Thai food.
You are struggling.
I'm struggling. Made by my girl on Dixie Highway. Julie is her name.
She's crying.
30
It will.
years she's been running this market, and she is no
I
joke.
guess you tear up.
If you tell her you want it spicy, she's like, okay. She considers it a personal challenge. She's like, okay, I see you. I see you want spicy. I'll give you spicy, gringo. So let's see how you deal with this.
Yeah.
She's funny, too. I've heard stories about her kicking people out of her restaurant, like the Soup Nazi. She's been there 30 years. It's a little tiny market. If
Okay.
you walk in and you're messing around or you're goofing off or you don't know what you want, she'll kick you out, which I love.
Really?
I hate that shit.
She's spicy herself.
Hell no.
I love
She
that.
don't play, huh?
She does not play, and it's hilarious.
Got a lot of comments about, we were talking about private jets at the end of the regular show. Trying to get some info. Christine said, here's an article I Googled on the private jet Uber idea that names a number of companies that are doing this.
Okay.
It's from the New York Times. She said, I'd love to hear more from listeners who have tried this. It says here, Jet Smarter, a startup service that for an annual membership fee allows you to fly on so-called empty legs or private jets flying without passengers on their way to pick someone up.
Yeah, that's the one we heard about that was $15,000 minimum per
yeah.
year. Yeah.
The service is one of a host of new ventures that are seeking to upend the private jet market by capitalizing on advancing technology and rising dissatisfaction with commercial airlines. In some cases, the flights end up costing the same or less than first-class tickets on a commercial airliner.
Absolutely. Like our friend Chip, he flies like twice a month.
Uh-huh.
So you figure twice a month, that's 24 trips a year. What does he spend on each trip? I mean, yeah, it's going to be where he can save himself a lot of money and hassle. You don't have to go through TSA, take your shoes off, pay for parking at the airport.
People are saying private jets today aren't looked at as a luxury tool. They're a productivity tool.
Wow.
Time is money. You're eliminating hours from your journey. And somebody texted in and said, when my business got to a certain size, my time was being wasted sitting in airports waiting for flights, cancellations, getting bumped, all that kind of stuff. I have the kind of business that kind of stuff is debilitating to us. So
that makes sense.
I need to be someplace in a hurry, so private jet was the solution.
That totally makes sense. For guys that are doing it for business and traveling multiple times a month, absolutely.
Yeah, well, we're hearing about families who are going to bump, but yeah, imagine if you've got you're pitching something for your business, and this is the only time like those people are in town.
And you get bumped?
Yeah, and you can't make it, and you can't get into the city while they're there to pitch your thing, then you know what? Sorry, we went with somebody else, and you could lose, you
Huge
lose
accounts.
a $50,000, $100,000 contract. You're like, screw it, I'm doing it. Said here, among the startups is Magellan Jets, which offers a subscription-based model where passengers can buy blocks of flight time and they get matched to planes through an iPhone app. Magellan Jets guarantees an aircraft, including turboprops and helicopters, within 10 hours of a customer request in the United States or within 24 hours in Europe.
Wow.
Another startup is BlackJet, which pairs customers with empty seats on nearby private aircraft. Somebody had said that I took it frequently enough that I was able to fly from Fort Lauderdale to Teterboro, New Jersey for free.
I don't fly that much, so it wouldn't make sense for somebody like us that only travels, you know, once or twice a year on a plane. But man, if you do every day or every month, or every week,
Somebody else texted in too, said there's an app called 8780. It's from Maddie. Said my wife is an assistant to the broker, so yeah, check it out.
That's cool.
More and more people are doing it. Yeah, I'll never get on it, but still.
No,
cool
we don't travel. We're lucky.
Yeah.
If you travel for your job, man, that is a hard life. My sister did it. She was a flight attendant for years, and it's just it's a hard life. Flying like that, always going through the airports and carrying your bags, and it's difficult.
Queen was actually kicking around over the weekend, maybe doing a family vacation here before too long.
Yeah,
So
where are you going to go?
I don't know. That's just kind of him. Like, okay, what sounds exciting?
I'll give you some dates when I'm going to be gone if you want to coincide.
Maybe.
Do a little summer trip.
I was thinking what she kicked out maybe the Bahamas. Haven't been there for a long time.
My girlfriend just came back from Atlantis and said it was beautiful.
Yeah, I haven't been there for 12 years probably.
They've upgraded.
What about
it.
anywhere in the States? Is there anywhere in America you would love to go that you have not been yet?
Yeah, no doubt. Boston is a place that, for me, just picking a city and going. I got a buddy of mine from college that goes there, and I'd love to go up to Fenway. I'd only go in the summer, though, not a winter thing.
Yeah, people tell me, even though it's a big city, I would actually really like Boston. They say that it would be a fun town to go to. If I got a couple belts in me, we should be good to go. Let's go to Boston.
I know, I hear you. Yeah, I'm almost kind of like, that's why this private jet thing's kind of got me a little bit sparked up, because I'm like going, I just feel like just taking off and just doing like an extended weekend, like a...
They say you should do that at least once in your life where you're not even planning a vacation. You just all of a sudden go, let's throw caution to the wind, baby, and let's just pick somewhere and do it tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to Buffalo in July if y'all want to come.
But it's planned, though. I'm talking about the shit that all on a whim. You
don't want to go to exciting Buffalo?
To me, everything's exciting because I've never been.
Buffalo is actually pretty cool. The people in Buffalo are so friendly and nice.
Yep.
They're like New Orleans people. Everybody says hi to you and will help you out. And they're really kind.
Yeah.
There's like I've always wanted to go to like a Montana just because everyone talks about how beautiful it is out there.
It's nice.
I'd like to see like the God country area out
Wide
there.
open spaces.
Yeah, I don't like those, but
I want to go someplace with caves. I want to do more cave action.
Go to Logan.
That's fun.
Got lots of caves there for you.
Really?
they got the
Yeah, they
Conley
do.
Cave. You go in there, you never come out.
You die. You get beaten
Or
to
get
death.
kicked to death. Yeah. So she threw out like maybe the Bahamas, the Keys. I was like, oh, okay.
Even the Keys
Those
would
two
be
sound
fun. You haven't
good.
been in a while.
Maybe even the West Coast. The only thing is like the West Coast is great and it's beautiful. It's just, I mean, if you're going there just and you want like total peace and quiet, like I think I want to mix it up a little bit. Like,
Yeah, you want to have a little action.
And see something cool. You want to be able to have a story.
yeah.
I don't know if you're going to go on the West Coast and have that story.
If I just need to get away from civilization and want total quiet, nothing, then I go West Coast. But I think I kind of feel maybe the Bahamas or the Keys right now.
I'm with you, yeah.
I'd love to go to the Bahamas, man. I've never been.
Yeah, and it's fun. I mean, like I said, though, it's been like 12 years, and I'm not even sure I did it right.
I've never been out of the country.
Dang.
I ain't got that passport.
You used to not need one to go to the Bahamas.
I think now you need something.
You
a
do.
driver's license and a birth certificate, I thought.
Yeah, I think you need a something that now it's like, yeah, it's different. It's all changed up.
Homeland Security.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I'm not sure why they're doing it, but you have to now.
I get stopped just coming out of Publix. I'm gonna get stopped at the plane.
Yeah.
The first time I fly, I wasn't even doing anything, and I basically shut down LAX, and Kevin was there to see me. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, no.
Was that for your toothpaste?
I don't know what that was. The guy just started yelling at me because I was in the way or something. and you came up to me and go, why is that guy yelling at you? I don't know. Because this guy's a dick.
He
and
was.
then he started yelling at Kevin, too. And me and
Damn.
Kevin were yelling at him.
Nobody yells at the Bronx.
Yeah, especially when I'm still hammered.
Well, Kevin was hammered, and I was on medication, so maybe it was us.
Could have been.
I would love to know what really happened.
Oh, that's right. I left you guys.
You weren't there.
I had to go back early because my grandmother had died. That was the trip where Grandma had passed away.
Oh, okay.
And she was actually coming to California, and I was going to stay there for a family reunion. Grandma died in Vegas.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
it's not a podcast until Virginia says
I know,
something
right?
depressing like that.
Yep. It was a birthday party for her. She died on her way there.
Damn.
Sucks, right?
I don't know. It depends on your outlook on death.
I think it sucks.
Okay.
I mean, why couldn't the Grim Reaper take her after her birthday party? It was a big, huge celebration, 70th birthday for Grandma Emma.
Oh, because Grim Reaper don't give a dick about shit. He doesn't care.
She hadn't seen her brothers and her sister in years, and it was going to be a whole family reunion / birthday party.
Now I hear you.
Why, Kevin?
I'm sorry, man.
I don't know, Virginia.
I'm still mad about that. I'm holding on to that.
Just the way life goes. Unfortunately, things sometimes roll in your favor, and other times they do not.
Sorry, Grandma Emma.
Yeah. A little bit of talk about the New Orleans, which is another place I love to go.
It's always fun. You don't even have to have a holiday. Just go.
It's good times there. Some of the comments, somebody said, calling out V for acting like she knows what's going on in New Orleans. She hasn't lived there in 20 plus years. Asked her why people are calling racism going to take down the Joan of Arc statue there.
Damn.
How is that racist?
I don't know. I don't know anything about the Joan of Arc one.
You just got called out, Snicky.
Tell that person to go fuck themselves. I go back to New Orleans at least twice a year. My sister lives there, and you can blow me.
And the fact that people there, too, are also saying the Florida flag is racist because it looks like the stars and bars. Okay, stop talking about stuff you don't know.
Damn, Snicky.
What we did is we got on the microphone and said we don't know, so tell us. So go fuck yourself.
Remember last week we had a discussion about all that stuff, and then the next day I said we just need to make sure whatever we're talking about we are doing the research on, because we're getting called out like that.
Well, we can do research on the fly and have discussions and have people tell us what's up and have open dialogue and try to learn, which is what we said we were trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's just us talking about the statues that are talking about taking down. I know you were saying the Robert E. Lee was one there. From New Orleans.
That's where they were fighting. There was a bunch of people fighting with rebel flags on one side, and other side had signs, and everybody was yelling at each other in Lee Circle.
I hate that people yell. I would like to have people sit down with some empathy and say, let me hear how you feel and why you feel this way. And let's not try to get angry with this thing. Let's try to understand one another, and I want to understand your side and understand mine.
Unfortunately, I don't know if we'll ever get to that place where humans don't yell at each other.
Some people like to yell.
And some people, I think they just can't. Some people, it's a gift. You're really good at it. Every now and then it'll sneak out, but you're able to control your emotions. If you are raging inside, some people don't have that. I know it's a struggle for me sometimes. If something's really bothering me, it's tough for me to calmly present my case, and I think that's a struggle for a lot of people.
What do you mean?
But I think it does happen, and then all it takes is one person to get mad, and the whole fucking thing's over.
Yeah, but how do you learn if you don't listen?
What?
Exactly.
That's the best way to learn, to hear where the other person's coming from.
Well,
I thought I knew what was going on until you explained, okay, well, Washington had slaves. What are you going to do about that? And I was like, yeah, you can't take all down the statues of Washington. The Washington Monument has to be gone.
Well, sometimes you can't learn if you're not listening. Some people just don't want to listen. And I'm talking about anything. It doesn't matter what it is. If they're set in their ways, a lot of times it's hard.
Well, I think it's an interesting discussion that, we should have and should talk about and say, okay, let's look at what our take is today on slavery in America. And I'm one of those people, I don't believe that you ever wipe anything out of the history books. But, when you have, like we had talked about last week, a memorial or, a monument.
A statue, a tribute.
Yeah. What should our take be on people that own slaves? And part of it was like, okay, do we look at them saying they were men of their times in the sense slavery, sadly, was legal, in the United States at that time. So what they were doing wasn't breaking the law and wasn't wrong. You would think, and this is why it would be fascinating to be alive at that time, that how does that not choke at your moral
I think some of these guys, maybe when they got in it in the beginning, they were like, oh, yeah, everybody's got slaves. That's what we do. But even like Washington and a few other guys put it in their will. When they died, they wanted their slaves freed because they knew it was bad. And they knew, even at the end there, when they still had them, that it was bad. But a lot of these guys, that's how they made their money. The slaves picked the cotton made them rich.
Yep.
The person that wrote in that said, that's the way it was in those times. I would love to know, and maybe historians would know, because I don't know how else you would know, what was the vibe with everybody? Because you were talking about how a lot of times people of wealth would own slaves. But what was everyone's opinion? Was the people down the street, were they so against slaves and were they vocal about that? Or was it so common to where nobody thought it was wrong? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I had only known I had a conversation with my mom about it one time when I was younger, and this is back in high school, so I'm trying to remember exactly what she had said. And I remember her commentary being like, well, our family's always so poor, we didn't have that. And she said this is past slavery and whatnot, but my grandfather, he had people that he would pay, and a lot of times they weren't much different on the pay scale. And so he had a lot of African Americans that were, working with him on his farm. He had a farm, but had to pay it. And it didn't sound like from the tones I've seen, I've not seen, in the majority of my family, kind of like racism.
Yeah, was it a time where there were a lot of people saying this is wrong, we should not have slaves, and it was only the people of wealth that had them? Was there an outcry from a lot of people?
I think that somebody had sent in a message saying that a lot of the people who were slave owners had gotten to even the poor of the population, saying that you should treat them differently. And you do look at that. I mean, as time did go on with segregation and everything. I mean, that was happening, and you go to poor parts still in the deep South, and there are a lot of people that are still racist, and they're not people of means. They're just still racist.
And they're dumb as fuck, too. They're ignorant. They're dumb fucks.
Nicholas said, this is directed at the emailer you had who said not to hold people of the past with the same standards of today. That way of thinking works when you're using it in the case of a person who has changed over the span of 10 or so years, but not when the difference spans 100 years. By her logic, should we possibly consider forgiving Hitler of his sins and say, well, he was a man of his time? No, of course not. So why should we treat people who were involved in human trafficking, basically what slavery was, any differently? We have human trafficking happening till this day, and to this day, you mean to tell me that you consider giving those people monuments in the near future? Come on, y'all.
Come on, y'all.
I think he was talking to the emailers that were
What the
sending
fuck?
in stuff.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just totally kidding.
Fuck them.
I think it's a good conversation to have. How you look at it, how we should look back at some of our forefathers that are on dollar bills.
It's going to be
and
tricky
have got monuments
because a lot of them made really bad choices that we now are evolved and we don't do anymore because it was really messed up. Mm-hmm. So what do? You can't wipe them all from history.
Well, and the one thing that I would assume, and from just some of the stories I remember, is I don't, though all of slavery is abhorrent, I think kind of what you were saying, that some people were, nice and humane to the slaves that they owned, and other people were completely bastards to them. And so do you look at that person any differently if they treated them as human beings and gave them a good life, or tried to, because they're still slave owners, but they're trying to be like, hey, nice with the slaves that they own. And then you've got the people where you see some of the movies that are out there, especially today, portraying how slave owners were beating their slaves and doing awful things with them.
Ugh, that's just gross.
And probably what you have to do is just say, it doesn't matter. Slave owners were just slave owners. And if that's the case and you put them all into one grouping, then that's where you have to really start saying, okay, how do we want to...
Every monument's coming down.
How do you want to look at stuff
all
getting
these
renamed?
rich, old white guys that ran the country in the very beginning.
Washington's the biggest one. You got a lot tied to Washington.
Think about, just the dollar bill. I mean, what are you going to do?
Absolutely.
It's on the one.
You would have to do a lot of, would that, if you had to change a dollar bill, what does that mean? Does that mean you could never use the old dollar bill if it had Washington on it? How does that work?
It would be tough. It would. That's why it would be a tough decision. First of all, it would be tough to get everyone to, one, agree, and then two, it would be then tough if we all agreed to implement doing this. Because you're right away.
I don't think it would ever happen. I don't think you would ever get everyone to agree to knock down Washington stuff. There's no way. There's no way people would do that.
Not in today's day and age, and you got to wonder if we would ever, if in 50 years in American history, American future, I guess, or 100 years, could they be to the point where they're saying, how could we have any kind of monument or name any state or any city, especially our nation's capital, after a guy that owned slaves? It could happen.
It could. It absolutely could.
Could be the conversation. We'll see. I got an email from Chelsea. Said, hey, guys, Chelsea from Portland.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's the one that we met when we were up there.
Mm-hmm. She said, I've been doing a CrossFit boot camp for the past 3 weeks because I just found out I have diabetes.
Oh.
And, well, that was a wake-up call. But now I'm hooked, and I don't ever see myself giving up CrossFit. That being said, I wanted to say sorry to the Mexican Queen because I was one of the listeners who couldn't understand why she wasn't showering. But now that I'm doing CrossFit and more, I get it. A shower is a waste of time. Time when I could be spending with my hubby or my toddler. Time when I could be cooking or cleaning the house. Granted, my husband won't have sex with me or let me in our bed if I didn't shower. And I haven't resorted to wet wipes, dry shampoo, and parfum. But I absolutely see where she was coming from. And I am sorry that I passed on so much judgment. P.S. I have showered every day since I started CrossFit, but I wasn't happy doing it.
I still get people asking me about that, about the Queen in the showering.
I know, right?
People can't believe that it was real.
Well, it was a hot topic for a solid 6 weeks. We hit it pretty hard for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Just that whole...
No, people didn't believe it. It was crazy. I'm like, yeah, she wasn't
That is what I
showering there for a
still
while.
get asked about.
I know.
That one stayed with people.
Yeah, I got to tell you, and she's kind of getting back to it. It's
Not showering.
not as frequent.
Well, perfect, man.
I'm
Is it
like, well,
perfect
what's
time for
going on?
summertime?
Wait a minute. I thought she has a job now, and so she cared about how she looked.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought too. I don't know. I think she's just kind of throwing it all out the window because I'm like, when was the last time you shower? I'm like, you got dirt on your neck.
Makes sense. The summer's coming up. It's going to be a lot sweatier,
When you asked
balmier.
her, what did she say?
She's like, oh, I don't have time. It's kind of almost back to the same stuff. I'm like, oh boy, here we go again, huh? Yeah. It seems like
Did she want to leave that job?
I don't think it has anything to do with that. I mean, I think she's as gung ho as ever about it. It's just maybe she's past that honeymoon period where she feels confident in the job.
Well, she knows that, okay, I've made it a little while. I'm not getting fired.
Yeah.
Let me go back to how I like to live.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe
I
that's
don't
where
have
she
to
is.
impress anybody. Is she still doing her hair? Because she was getting her hair did and all that.
She's doing that a little bit, but yeah. You know, it's I wouldn't say right now it's as alarming as it was, but
Brother, just keep
there's
swimming.
concern.
Just keep swimming. Just keep moving forward in life.
That's all I do.
Yeah.
That's all you do. You just roll with the punches.
Well, wherever you decide to take your family vacation, just make sure it's by like lots of water so at least you can get her in the ocean a little
Something
Yeah.
tropical.
Try to
yeah.
shove her in.
Keys, the Bahamas, definitely. Don't go anyplace landlocked.
Let me see. Got an email here looking for a little bit of advice. I've been with my boyfriend for a few years now. I'm a female in my late 20s. He is in his early 30s. We're both in a place where we're considering marriage. I love him. I know he loves me. However, since day one, I noticed that we have different sex drives. At first, I waited and waited. Then I thought he was playing hard to get, just making me work for it, like to build up expectations. Then I started to initiate sadly, and he would turn me down gently, but still, ouch. Basically, she has a more active sex drive than he does. Now they're still together, and she's just like, I don't know, is it possibly the testosterone levels, which he agrees that he would get checked, but then he just never does? And is this somebody that I should marry if here before we get married, I'm already unhappy with the frequency in our sex lives?
He's got to step it up a little bit. He's got to know this is important to her. She's a very carnal being here, and she needs a little bit more.
And if you're not getting what you need now, it ain't going to get better when you get married.
Well, the other thing too is if the frequency's down, he needs to show her that he's trying to get that frequency back up.
He don't care. It sounds like he's unmotivated.
Says, I'm not a cheater. I never hurt my boyfriend like that, but I can't seem to ignore this anymore. Lately, I've been fantasizing on just hooking up with someone in my situation. No, I won't do that, but I need help. Now, my boyfriend truly is my best friend, and we get along so well. Quantity in sex is the only thing I can point out.
She needs to be very, very honest and very vocal and very detailed about her complaint to her man.
Yeah, you
She
gotta tell him.
This is something that you need to sit him down and say, look, I love you. Lead with a compliment. Lead with kindness. You're great. You're my best friend. But this is an issue. What can we do about it? I would not wait on this. And I would be very, very honest.
Yeah, she said she's tried lingerie and everything, and so, yeah, she's at a loss.
She needs to tell him that it's a problem.
Yeah, if you
Because
even
it's an issue.
you shouldn't even be talking about marriage. That should not be something you guys are talking about. You got to fix this first.
Let them know. Look, I'm a carnal sexual being. I'm not saying we got to do it 10 times a day, but I need a little bit more of an effort. If you're not trying and it's not...
And if she tries to initiate it and you turn her down, because trust me, that's happened to me.
It stays with you.
It's awful. And as a girl, if you offer it and the guy doesn't want it, that cuts to the core.
I mean, if it happens once, it's not a big deal. But if he's continuously saying, all right, I'm not in the mood, that's a major problem.
You shouldn't be talking about marriage. You should be talking about fixing your sex plans.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I would put marriage on the back burner. Don't do it now until you can get to a place. Because if you walk in with this kind of doubt.
Well, you're not jacked up to get married. You're actually going into your big day all depressed and thinking, oh, is he going to have weak peen today? Is he going to even try?
Got to tell you, I'm very excited for this week. It is National Craft Beer Week.
All week long, huh?
Look at that.
All week long. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to get to celebrate a lot in between now and this weekend.
Let's
but
do it on the podcast. You know what? I'll bring what kind of craft beer you want tomorrow. Throughout the week, we'll have it.
My goodness.
We'll drink all day.
Oh, boy, it sounds
We're
like
on
a
the
lot of fun.
podcast, I mean.
We've got that chocolate stout that Joe brought. Remember?
Oh, that is stout. You want some?
No, I'm good. See, the problem is I go to the gym right after this, and I've had those days where you drink a little bit on the podcast, and it's really tough to then get fired up for a vigorous workout.
So why don't I go to the gym?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, you're not doing it right if you're going to the gym.
Yeah,
We need to go to the track.
quit doing it wrong.
Little Smalls Golf Tournament is on Friday.
That's a fun day.
You going to that?
We have to go.
Yeah, I'm
Please
gonna go out.
say you're going.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out after I get my responsibilities here tied up. Yeah,
I love it.
be out there. On Saturday, there's a whole bunch of good stuff going on. Copper Point Brewing Company, they got their second anniversary party. That's in Boynton. Twisted Trunk has got a release party that's going to be going on Saturday as well, and I'm hoping to get up there. They're doing something right now. They teamed up with a brewery in Cooperstown, New York, and they've got this initiative tackling the toxic issue blooming in South Florida, the blue-green algae. And they're doing a special release called Southbound, a Belgian-style Pilsner. And proceeds from the sales of the beer from the launch event will raise funds for Captains for Clean Water, enabling them to continue the work to protect Florida's waterways and draw attention to this dangerous issue.
Good, because that algae bloom is horrible.
Yep, I love when you can get a beer for a cause. And then we're going to be at Bacon Fest at Roger Dean Stadium.
That's
Bacon Fest.
this weekend, right?
That is this Saturday.
What time that's at? At what, 5, 4?
Yep. We're out there at 5. I think it starts a little bit earlier than that, too.
It does, yeah. It starts earlier in the afternoon, and we're going to be there till 7. They got a baseball game on after that.
Are you going to go, Bronk?
Yeah. I'm
nice,
scheduled to be out there,
okay.
yeah, Bacon Fest. And I went up, the Queen and I, because we always try to do something different. And thank you for the suggestion on Friday. Somebody said check out the Civil Society Brewery. It's right there in Abacoa Town Center, and I hadn't been up there yet. We went up there. They had the food trucks on Friday.
Nice.
And we went there, and they had this awesome citrus IPA. It's called Fresh, I think. It's phenomenal. It's really good. So I tried that. They had a good crowd up there, a lot of people around. We went to a Cuban place. It's right there in Abacoa Town Center, too. It had a great vibe. It was very cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. And thank you. A couple bought us a shot.
Aw.
Yeah, I was like, well,
What'd you do, Fireball?
Yeah, it was.
Fireball, man, goes down so easy, and it's got
Yeah.
such a nice relaxing buzz.
Somebody sent this and said the Bronx definitely needs this shirt. It says IPA like the beer. I pee a lot when I drink. It's a great shirt.
Cute.
Yeah, I'll try to get that for this weekend. So there you go. And then Saturday night's Muse, baby. At the Perfect Vodka Amphitheater.
Are you going to go?
I think I'm hoping to, yeah.
You loved Muse.
I do, yeah.
Do you still love him as much?
I wouldn't say I love them as much, but I mean, they've still got like a nice bevy of hits.
Okay.
So, yeah, I could go out and check that out and enjoy it. Also got this great email here. Wendy from Fellsmere said, I want to tell you guys that for Mother's Day, my husband and I and my son went to Bud's for the first time.
Nice.
We live more than an hour and a half away, and let me tell you, my husband loved the chicken.
Nice.
And he also got the fish sandwich. It was amazing. He said it was the best fish sandwich ever.
Yeah, you know,
awesome.
Their fish sandwich, I have heard, because fish isn't something that I normally eat. Everybody and their mother says it's the best fish sandwich they have ever had at Bud's Chicken and Seafood.
Wow.
It's that good.
That bird sauce is to die for. Great job, Jaybird. My son loved the mac and cheese, so creamy. I got the chicken sandwich, which was perfect. Also, the brownies were on point. We are coming back soon. It was so worth the drive.
See how I know Bud's Chicken and Seafood is an unbelievable restaurant? We get so much feedback from other people. We would not get this much feedback if Bud's wasn't the shit,
No,
which
it's
they are.
legit. It is totally legit.
So go check it out. They say worth the drive, and that's even from an hour and a half away.
We get a lot of those people that have driven over an hour to try out Bud's.
This just means Buds needs to grow.
They do.
Yep.
Denny's, we need to find out about helping make Buds grow.
He thinks that's weed.
Oh,
I know how to grow buds.
no problem.
All right. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems, ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.